Tonight, you're going to do something you've done roughly 25,000 times in your life. You'll shut your eyes, surrender your muscles, and let gravity take your body hostage for 6 to 9 hours. But here's the part nobody tells you. Sleep is not rest. Sleep is a night shift. While you lie there, your brain opens hidden drainage tunnels to rinse out toxic proteins. Your heart changes its pumping strategy depending on where your chest is facing. Your diaphragm negotiates for space like a stressed-out factory foreman. Your spine either gets a gentle repair job, or it gets slowly molded into a shape you never agreed to. And your sleeping position. That's your body's vote. Not a personality quiz. A biological decision made by pain sensors, airflow physics, stomach acid, nerve pressure, and the ancient survival software still running in your nervous system. Curled up like a shrimp. Your organs feel protected, but your lungs might be working inside a cramped elevator. Flat on your back like a system reset. Your spine celebrates, while your throat quietly collapses. Face down like a paratrooper. Snoring gets silenced, but your neck pays the bill. Tonight, we decode the message your body is sending, position by position, like a forensic report written in muscle tension, oxygen flow, and nerve signal. 1. Fetal position. A common sign of safety. The fetal position is your nervous system, speaking in an ancient language. The moment your knees rise toward your chest, your brainstem quietly flips a switch. Protect the core. In evolutionary terms, you're turning your soft organs into a guarded vault. Heart, lungs, abdomen tucked behind bone and muscle like valuables in a safe. And there's a second advantage. Heat. Curling up reduces exposed surface area, so your body leaks less warmth. It's not comfort. It's insulation. But here's the trade. Curl too tightly and you become a pressure chamber. Your diaphragm, your main breathing engine, needs room to descend like a piston. When your chin collapses toward your chest and your ribs compress, the piston can't travel, so your lungs switch to short, shallow breaths. Less oxygen delivered, less overnight tissue repair. You wake up tired, not because you slept too little, but because your cells worked a night shift on limited air. The fetal position can still be a hero, especially for snorers. Side lying keeps the tongue from falling back and blocking the airway. The upgrade is simple. Don't become a clenched ball. Become a loose shrimp. Relax the curl, lengthen the spine, and place a pillow between the knees to keep hips neutral. 2. The log, the brain's night shift janitor. If the fetal position is emotional armor, the log position is discipline. You lie on your side like a straight beam of wood, arms down. Legs stacked, body aligned, as if even in sleep you refuse to collapse. And ironically, that rigidity unlocks one of the most important hidden jobs of the night. Brain sanitation. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. While you sleep, your brain doesn't just rest, it reorganizes. Neurons slightly reduce their volume, creating extra space between cells, so that space becomes a highway for cerebrospinal fluid. The clear liquid that washes through brain tissue like a maintenance crew with pressure hoses. Its mission is simple. Rinse out metabolic trash. One of the most feared pieces of trash is beta amyloid, a waste protein strongly associated with Alzheimer's pathology when it accumulates. Now comes the cinematic part. Gravity becomes your assistant. Side sleeping turns your skull into a tilted drain. You're not just lying down, you're positioning the plumbing. Studies suggest side lying appears to support more efficient glymphatic clearance than back or stomach sleeping, which is why so many brain optimization people swear by it. You wake up not just rested but mentally sharper, because the filter ran all night. But every upgrade has a cost. Your face is pressed into fabric for thousands of hours a year, creating sleep creases that can become permanent. And your shoulder becomes a load-bearing pillar. Too much pressure compresses blood flow and nerves. And you wake with that numb, dead arm sensation, paresthesia, like your nervous system briefly unplugged the limb. The fix? A thicker pillow to keep the neck neutral, and a hug pillow to stop the shoulder from collapsing inward. 3. The Gut brain axis, master controller of microorganisms. You think you're the one choosing your midnight snack? You think your cravings are entirely up to you? But your gut is a 9-meter-long neural highway, and you're not the driver, you're the vehicle. Your gut microbiome is now sending electrical signals to the vagus nerve, hijacking dopamine receptors to make you buy that donut. There is a particular type of gut environment that is governed by firmicutes. These bacteria are the Decepticons of your gut. They've evolved to manipulate your mood by releasing toxins when hungry, making you feel anxious or irritable until you provide them with the glucose they crave. It's biological blackmail. In a documentary, we'll see these bacteria not as pathogens, but as a giant, neon-lit city of trillions of bacteria, sending emails neurotransmitters to the brain. The second brain, or enteric nervous system, contains more nerve cells than the spinal cord. 90% of the nerve fibers in the vagus nerve do not originate from the brain, but rather from the gut. Upwards, avid fans will find it interesting to know that your gut produces 95% of the serotonin in your body. If your gut is crying out for help due to inflammation, your brain will perceive it as a serious crisis. Your anxiety might just be due to a specific strain of bacteria having a bad day. 4. The yearner. The thirster, a biomechanical compromise. The yearner position looks almost theatrical, side-lying, but with both arms stretched forward like you're reaching for something you can't quite touch. A glass of water, a door handle, a disappearing dream. Biomechanically, it's your body trying to negotiate between comfort and function. Not curled into defense, not rigid like a log, just open enough to breathe, but still protected. And in many ways, it works. You keep the side sleep advantage. The airway stays more open because the tongue is less likely to fall backward. You also keep the brain-cleaning tilt that helps nighttime fluid movement do its rinse cycle. But the extended arms change the geometry of the rib cage. Your chest gets a little more expansion room, and the center of mass shifts forward. That can unload the lower shoulder compared to a tight side curl, which is why some people wake with less shoulder pain in this pose. But there's a nervous system tack. Your brachial plexus, the cable bundle running from neck to arm, hates being stretched and compressed for hours. If you wake with tingling fingers, numb hands, or that eerie "my arm isn't mine yet" sensation, it's not weakness. It's your nerve wiring signaling overload. Then there's the reflux secret, and it's pure anatomy. Your stomach curves left. Sleep on your right side and gravity can encourage acid to creep upward into the esophagus heartburn. GERD, that morning throat burn. Sleep on your left side and the stomach sits lower than the esophagus, keeping acid where it belongs. Down, digesting, not invading. If reflux is your enemy, left side yearner isn't a preference. It's a strategy. 5. The architecture of breathing, the debt of mouth breathing. Your face is reshaping the moment you speak. This isn't just due to cosmetic surgery or genetics, but also the 25 000 breaths you take each day. Your skull is a complex structure, and how you inhale air into your lungs determines whether your jawline maintains its sharpness or your face begins to sag. People who breathe through their noses not only sleep soundly, they are also mobile chemical factories. When you breathe through your nose, your nasal sinuses produce nitric oxide, a molecule so potent it's used to treat pulmonary hypertension. It's a vasodilator that allows blood to absorb 20% more oxygen. In science fiction, we envision these oxygen molecules as high-speed messengers, boosting brain energy. Enthusiastic fans will love the Catlin point. 19th century artist George Catlin observed that indigenous tribes practicing nose breathing had perfect teeth and no respiratory illnesses, while civilized people who breathed through their mouths suffered from facial deformities. Next is the mouth breathing type. Biologically, this is an emergency backup system used as a primary engine. When the mouth is always open, the tongue slides down from the roof of the mouth. Without that internal support, the upper jawbone begins to shrink and sag. This is a slow collapse of the facial structure. You not only get less oxygen, it also alters the structure of your airway, making each subsequent breath more difficult. 6. The soldier, the holy grail for the spine. The soldier pose is the closest thing humans have to a full body reset. On your back, arms straight at your sides, legs aligned, face aimed at the ceiling like you're awaiting a software update. It looks eerie coffin-like, but biomechanically, it's almost perfect engineering. Your spine loves this position because it finally gets symmetry. No twisting through the neck. No hip rotation. No shoulder stacked under body weight. The vertebrae are allowed to line up like cleanly stacked coins. If your mattress has any integrity, it supports the natural curve of the lumbar spine instead of forcing it into a kink. Your muscles, the little stabilizers along the spine, get to clock out. Their workers stop gripping all night and finally switch from holding you together to repairing micro damage. And your skin gets a bonus. No cheek pressed into fabric. No drool marinating your pores against a pillowcase ecosystem. For face and posture, soldier sleep can feel like a luxury spa for your skeleton. But here's the betrayal. The moment your spine relaxes, your throat becomes a collapsing tunnel. Gravity pulls the jaw back. The tongue slides toward the airway like a heavy curtain. Soft tissues sag, and suddenly your breathing turns into turbulence, snoring, vibration, airflow resistance. For people with sleep apnea, this isn't just noise, it's repeated oxygen drop, micro-awakenings, and stress hormones firing all night like an alarm system that never shuts off. So, soldier might be the holy grail for the back, but a threat to the breath. And that raises the next, stranger question. What happens when someone takes the soldier pose and then spreads out like they own the entire bed, turning their body into a human radiator? 7. Starfish the bed's radiator. The starfish pose is what happens when the soldier position feels like a prison. Same base setup on your back, but now your body expands like it's claiming territory. Arms up near the head, legs spread, chest open. You don't look asleep. You look like you were dropped onto the mattress from the sky and decided to stay there. Only a small percentage of people sleep this way. But the biology is strangely logical. When the arms rise, the ribcage can lift and widen more than in the soldier pose. For some shoulders, this feels like instant relief because the joint isn't being crushed underneath body weight, and the chest isn't being subtly squeezed inward. Your breathing can feel bigger, more open at least mechanically. But the real superpower is heat control. Your body loses heat through surface area. The starfish increases that surface area like a radiator turning on. Arms and legs spread means more skin exposed to cooler air, more heat escaping, less nighttime overheated. If you wake up sweaty, kicked off blanket, heart thumping like a furnace your body may have discovered. Starfish sleep is a natural cooling hack. Yet the pose comes with a quiet, neurological penalty. Elbows bent and arms overhead can compress the ulnar nerve, the wiring that feeds your ring and little finger. That's why some starfish sleepers wake up with claw hand, numb fingers, or a dead grip, like their hand temporarily forgot its job. And just like the soldier, the starfish can turn your throat into a wind tunnel. Mouth opens. Air dries out the airway. Snoring amplifies. But here's where it gets even stranger. What kind of person hears that warning and still chooses to sleep? Face down, twisting the neck just to breathe like a human parachutist refusing to land. 8. The paratrooper, a rebel against the spine. Now we meet the rebels. The people who look at anatomy, physics, and orthopedic advice and respond with a quiet, defiant? No. These are the free fall sleepers. Face down, hands under the pillow, head turned hard to one side, as if you're listening for danger through the floorboards. From a mechanical standpoint, it's brutal. To breathe, your neck must rotate close to 90 degrees. Your cervical spine becomes a twisted rope for hours. Imagine standing at your desk all day with your chin pinned over your shoulder. Your body would scream. Yet at night, you do it unconsciously, and the pain invoice arrives in the morning. Stiff neck, tight traps, and sometimes that deep ache between the shoulder blades that feels older than you are. There's also the pressure problem. With your chest and pelvis pressed into the mattress, your lower back can sink into an exaggerated arch. And your face is taking the full force of gravity and fabric friction. Puffy eyes, distorted cheek, sleep lines that feel like they were stamped onto your skin. It's not aging. It's nightly compression. So why does the body choose it? Because it feels safe. Prone sleeping reduces the exposed front of the body. It creates a sense of being anchored. And the strange bonus? It often reduces snoring. Gravity pulls the tongue forward, away from the throat. So the airway is less likely to collapse for loud snorers who fail at side sleeping. Stomach sleeping becomes a desperate truce. Sacrifice the neck to save the breath. But here's the darker twist. Your sleep posture isn't just about sleep. It's connected to what you do all day. For millions of years, humans were built to move, squat, climb, and rest in positions that kept joints alive. Then we invented the chair, and your fascia, that silvery connective wrapping, started adapting like wet cement hardening into the shape you sit in. Hip flexors shorten. Pelvis tilts. Neck tissues thicken to hold a forward head posture. Your body doesn't complain. It remodels. And the most unsettling part, modern chairs can give you glute amnesia. Your brain literally forgets how to activate the muscles that once made humans endurance machines. So here's the question that should keep you watching. If your daytime posture is silently reshaping your skeleton, what should you do tonight to undo it before it becomes permanent? 9. Optimize your sleep. So is there a winner in the sleep Olympics? Not exactly. Because your body isn't choosing a position based on trends or comfort aesthetics, it's choosing based on survival math. Pain signals, airway resistance, reflux pressure, nerve compression, pregnancy circulation. Your nervous system runs the calculations and rotates you into the posture that reduces the most immediate threat. But once you understand the mechanics, you stop being a victim of randomness. You start being a designer. If you sleep on your back, be careful. Yes, it's great for spinal alignment and facial skin. But for many people, especially, anyone with loud snoring or sleep apnea back sleeping can turn the throat into a collapsing tunnel. Tongue slides back, jaw drops, soft tissue closes in. If you're a back sleeper who snores like a chainsaw, your fatigue may not be laziness, it may be oxygen debt. A simple hack is to make back sleeping inconvenient. The classic tennis ball taped to the back of a shirt can train you to roll onto your side without thinking. If you sleep on your stomach, you may be protecting your airway but punishing your neck. If you wake with cervical pain, try removing the pillow or using the thinnest one possible. So your neck isn't forced into a severe twist all night. And for most people, side sleeping is the most balanced choice. Less airway collapse, less snoring risk, better reflux control, especially on the left side. And if your knees or hips complain, a small pillow between the knees can keep your pelvis from torquing and your spine from aging like a bent paperclip. Because sleep isn't passive, it's a performance. And if you spend 1/3 of your life doing something, you should get good at it. Now tell me, what's your sleep identity? Fatal shrimp, disciplined log, stiff soldier, chaotic starfish, or full rebel paratrooper? Drop your type in the comments. And if you want more science-backed, cinematic breakdowns of the hidden biology running your body every night, subscribe, because the next thing we're decoding is even stranger. What if the way you breathe in your sleep is quietly reshaping your face, your jaw, and even your brain over the next 10 years without you noticing?